Good morning, students. We are going to start our SST 10th class, Chapter 2, Sectors of the Indian Economy from Economics, Video 3. So, precaution to be taken. In the previous video, we have discussed how we can measure the value of one product. Now we will discuss the precautions which should be taken while measuring the value of the final product. While calculating the total production of a sector, the value of only the final goods is included and not the intermediate goods. Okay, so the value of final goods already include the value of intermediate goods. If we also count the value of intermediate goods, then it will lead to double counting, that is counting the value of a good more than once. For example, farmer sells the wheat at rupees 8 per kg, then flour mill grinds it at uh, rupees 10 per kg. Then biscuit company uses other ingredients and sells biscuit rupees 15 per kg. Consumer. So finally it will be going to the consumer. So here only the value of the final product, final good will be calculated, that is rupees 15 will be counted as the already includes the value of wheat and flour. Now gross domestic product. The value of goods and services produced in each sector in a particular year is calculated and added up. The sum of the production in three sectors given us the total production in a country called as gross domestic product. What is gross domestic product? When we are adding all the primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector in a year togetherly, that value will be added as gross domestic product of the year. Now GDP, it is the value of final goods and services, not only goods but as well services produced within a country during a particular year will be considered as gross domestic product. Change in the importance of sectors. Developed countries, in the initial stages of development, the primary sector is most important sector. With time, the shift has been seen from primary to secondary to tertiary. Okay, earlier the whole importance was given to primary sector. Earlier in the developed countries, all the focus is given on the primary sector, but nowadays with the development, with the changes in the time, where in developed countries, focus is also given on primary to secondary to tertiary sector. The shift between the sectors in case of India. But what is the case in India, which is a developing country? The shift between the sectors can be seen in two terms. In terms of share of each sector in GDP, total production, and in terms of employment in each sector. So the shift has been seen from primary to secondary to tertiary sector, but in the case of the employment, the primary sector continues to employ the maximum number of people. While there has been a change in the share of three sectors in GDP, a similar shift has not seen or taken place in employment. So here is the data, GDP by primary, secondary and tertiary sectors, which was in 1973. So the purple one is tertiary sector and secondary sector yellow, and this green is the primary one in 1973. Secondary sector was quite less, but now primary sector was more as compared to the all two sectors, but in 2003 we can see to that the primary sector is less and most increase in tertiary sector. Okay, actually primary and secondary is quite same, and there is increase seen in the tertiary sector. So next is thank you so much students. We will continue the chapter in the next video. So which sector do you think has grown the most over the last few years? So please answer me during the class. Then share of sectors in GDP. For GDP, share of agriculture sector in GDP has decreased and that of the tertiary sector has increased. Okay, primary sector produces 1/4 of the GDP, secondary and tertiary sectors produces 3/4 of the GDP. So the increase in tertiary sector, meaning which sector is earning more? One second. Tertiary sector nowadays is earning more as compared to the primary sector. Here it is seen it is decreasing. Okay, so what is decreasing? Money is decreasing over here. Okay, income in the primary sector is less and in tertiary sector is more, therefore it is adding up. Tertiary sector is adding up to the GDP of India more as compared to the primary sector. Now share of sectors in employment. So if we will talk about the employment, primary sector employs more than half of the people, secondary sector and tertiary sector employs less than half of the people. So maybe the tertiary sector is giving more income to the country, but if we are talking about the employment, still the primary sector is giving more employment to the people as compared to the secondary and tertiary sector. Think why? Why does primary sector still continue to employ maximum number of people? In India, there has been a change in the share of 3 sectors in GDP, but similar shift has not taken place in case of employment. Why? More than half of the workers are working in primary sector, yet producing only 1/4 of GDP. Explain. Let's see the reasons of all these questions. Enough job opportunities were not created in the secondary and tertiary sectors. Job opportunities are less in the secondary and tertiary sector, though the output of the 2 sectors went up. Existence of underemployment and disguised unemployment in primary sector, meaning as we have discussed already that people are it is seen that people are engaged on a land. Let's take the example that it is seen that if there is 10 members in a family, so they all are working on the land. If 5 members will be removed from the land, so there will not be any effect on the production from that land. So that shows that 5 people are working extra because they are not finding job anywhere else. So that will be called as the disguised unemployment, and which is very now and then seen in primary sector. Primary sector employs more people in agriculture than required. Even if few people are pulled out, the production will not fall. In this sector, people appear to work, but they are working less than their potential and so are not fully employed. Therefore, there exists underemployment and disguised unemployment, due to which the contribution of primary sector to GDP is less, even though it employs more number of people. So I hope your question is answered. So while going through the video, you can take a screenshot of this and can put it as the note, so that you can go through this when you are revising the chapter. next. So this is it, students. Thank you so much. We'll continue the topic in another video. Bye bye.